So I was going to talk about it on the Get 'em Garage oil squirter install video, but I figured this would just be a good time to have a separate video for, some of the philosophies of what I think in motorsports and making power and, all that jazz. I go usually with the grain, and that's not to say that ingenuity and going outside the norm doesn't have its spoils of war, but there's a lot of rocks that are left unturned, even in the grand scheme of things. So some of the rules that I have are like, don't go against the grain. Everyone's heard the rule of, you can only have two, and that's fast, reliable, and cheap. You can only pick two. And then also other rules that I have are like no double negatives. Like, if you're putting together a fuel system and you already know you're underrated on the fuel pump, I wouldn't add a double negative of like returnless or used injectors or something like that. Like, I always try to have like a mitigating risk to a choice, or like where you compromise, like do it yourself, performance modders, go and get a tune from a professional. Don't do it yourself turbo and mechanical build something and then also get a do it yourself tuner, because and then don't be surprised when it fails, so never have double negatives, and then like always add on to like I want to go fast, so I sent to get my car caged by a professional. I want to go fast, I'll have it tuned by a professional. I'm not going to do the cage and then be surprised when I'm going fast and the cage doesn't work. So there's some rocks that not necessarily are better left unturned, but better done with time and experience and stuff like that, in a closed course kind of way of saying it. But as far as the oil squirters go, I've had people ask me, like, you think you'll need those, like, or why do you think you'll need oil squirters? And parts of the reason were I knew I was going to be half filled, and the oil sprayed up on the bottom of it will help take some of that heat away from it. Now, that just brings in other factors, like I'll probably need an oil cooler now, which is fine with me. We'll run an oil cooler, maybe with a thermostatic switch or something. But, and then another part of that is GM sees fit to have oil squirters on their LS9 and LSA blocks, and kind of where I get from that is if a GM engineer sees fit to install these, which would cost the company and manufacturer more money to install and make and design, that's going with the grain. That's not going against the grain. That's something that, the people that are still running Gen 3s, Gen 4s blocks and stuff like that are, they're probably sitting there, trying to justify not doing it when it's a pretty simple task to do it. And then I believe all the new Gen 5s get it.
Overspeed.
Which is fair to say, because now they're all direct injection and they're running higher compression. And most of this is all just because of the higher regulations. You need a higher combustion ratio. You need more efficient petrol delivery for the EPA, and that all helps with. Not only does it help with emissions, but it also helps in the performance world when you tune it that way. Direct injection. I had a 600cc fuel-injected bike, and my buddy had a brand new 2001 carbureted bike. And there wasn't much of a difference in power-wise, but it was power delivery. And my bike, every time, in any gear, would pull away from that carbureted bike. And I'm not saying fuel injection is, vastly better than a carbureted engine in all aspects of the term, but I'm saying it is a development and it's more efficient half filled, and I mean, I know for certain I wouldn't be able to drive it around with a full fill. So a half fill, maybe, you know, going out to like cruise nights, car shows at night, you know, stuff like that. Getting out and about at night, I might be, with the ambient temperatures are much lower. I might be able to get around a little bit easier with a half-filled block, and then also with Piston Oil Squirters, I believe should help wick some of that heat away. And also, when you think about it, the forged pistons. So, and they make, I forget the other one. I know 2618 alloy is the one for big power, and that's what I'll be running, which uses more piston to wall clearance. And the other one, I believe, is 4318 maybe, or 4314. I can't quite remember now, but Molly makes a lot of them. Every piston manufacturer makes one, and the silicon content is less than that one. It expands less with heat, but it doesn't take detonation. It doesn't take abuse like it does the counterpart of the 2618 alloy piston, the forged piston. So wicking some of that heat away will also be a good way to maybe abuse that piston more. Maybe run you know, just a little bit less piston to wall clearance. Give that piston more stability and less rocking in the cylinder. Like I said, I'm not a GM engineer. GM sees fit to have it on there, so that's pretty much a big part of my philosophy of running them on the Gen 3 and Gen 4 blocks. It really took a while on the first one. Like I said, I had a drill bit failure, and then I had to wait for some more drill bits to come back in, and just working through it, and you know, learning better practices to do it well, and be able to knock out some more. I'm pretty confident before doing it, and I'm even more confident after doing two. But yeah, that's part of the reason and philosophy of why I'm running them and why I think they're necessary. And it's just it's like an encompassing modification. You know, you do girdles, you do you know, billet mains, you do ARP studs. It's like going in there and being like, nah, I think I'll just run stock studs. You know, when people know for a fact, they're like, no, you definitely need ARP studs, or you need, you know, rod bolts. Do people get away with no piston oil squirters? Yeah, sure. I don't have any hard proven data to be like, this is a must. It's just something that I'll be running on mine. And it was a fun little project to show and do yourself informational video. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. Peace. Oh, I gotta find that daggone